YouTube, and happy Saturday. Today is July 20th, 2024, and I am going to make some deep fried chicken tenders. And I have the grease on right now, and so I've already prepped my chicken tenders. I have marinated them with these seasonings. You can see the cumin, curry, garlic, cayenne, and garlic salt with parsley. Then I have my buttermilk over here, and then I have some flour over here. So that's pretty much all I'm going to be using, and this is somewhat of an experiment because I have tried making chicken tenders in the past, but they come out too crunchy, so I'm doing something wrong. So again, I'm not going to give you measurements or anything because it is an experiment, and I'm just trying to kind of learn and perfect my chicken tenders. I watched a few YouTube videos on how to do it, and there are several ways to do it. So I'm going to try to combine some of those and see what I come out with. So let's get ready. So as you can see right there, I have two bowls. One is for the flour and the other is for the wet batter. And so I'm putting a little bit of flour in where I would use the flour to use it as the coating, and then the other bowl I'm gonna put flour in that, so for the wet batter. And one thing that I didn't do in the past was actually season my wet batter as well as the flour. Actually, no, I did season the wet batter. I didn't season the flour. And so just imagine the coating of the chicken tenders being a bland taste because the flour is going to coat the chicken tenders. So you would need to also season the flour, which is going to be the last thing that you're going to dip the chicken tenders into. And so as you can see there, I'm seasoning both of them. And now that's the wet batter, and that is the buttermilk that I'm adding to it. And buttermilk has a thick consistency, so, and after I had stirred up the pork a little bit, I realized I misplaced my whisk. I used a big spoon, but even with the buttermilk being so thick, I did add a little bit of water to this wet batter, and so now you can see the consistency of the wet batter. And so I know I see some people, they do this one by one with the chicken tenders. They dip it in the wet batter, then dip it in the flour, then go to the next chicken tender. I just do it all in one, and just do it all together, and just put them all in the wet batter, and then individually dip them into the flour, and then put them in the hot oil. Here's my first one, and I like using a big bowl with the flour in it, just because it gives you more room to play around with the flour and to make sure that the chicken tender is thoroughly coated with the flour. Another thing that I noticed that some YouTubers do, is that they actually use forks because they don't want that coating, as you can see there, that thick coating of flour and on your fingertips. But I prefer to use my fingers rather than using prongs or forks or whatever. And so I let it cook for about 15 minutes. I like my chicken tenders very thoroughly cooked. I read somewhere that you can deep fry them for like 5 minutes, and I just like, nah, I'm gonna cook them for about 10 to 15 minutes. So this time around, the chicken tenders turned out perfectly the first time I've ever cooked them. They were perfectly seasoned on the outside and the inside, and they were not